man. Whew. I almost lost it this morning. For some strange reason, it's not a strange reason. I got very passionate about how I was feeling, about what was going on with me. I wanted to communicate. That was a need. My need for safety, my need for companionship, my need for community, my need for justice, my need for compassion. All my needs that I just stated were not being met. In that instance, I thought, well, it can't just be about me. So I thought, what are the needs of the other person? Now, when we're assuming, guessing, or trying to understand the needs of others, we may be wrong. It may be hard for us to establish what grounds that individual is standing on. What is the intentions behind that individual's conversation or statements or dialogue, or how they express what's going on with them. And if that person doesn't know how to communicate their feelings, doesn't know how to communicate their passions, their needs, what's going to happen? Sometimes at that moment, you have two individuals that begin to debate, argue, stand on their ground, stand their position, hold their position about how they feel. They may react, as we all do when a situation presents itself. We react. Getting an understanding of what we're reacting to or what we're feeling can be very difficult at times, especially in the moment. In that moment, we just want to express ourselves. Some of us, I'm going to talk about me, my experiences. I grew up in the neighborhood, in the community, where oftentimes I was not heard. That's why I do this presentation. It's a way of being heard. It's a way of voicing how I feel. And because I've worked on myself, on trying to figure out effective ways of communication, figure out ways of dealing with anger, I've learned various methodologies. I could go into a long list of them if I chose to. But I just want to stay on topic. In learning these various things, in the moment, in bringing them about, often can become challenging because I want to resolve whatever it is that's going on with me at this moment, because I don't want to carry it out. I don't want to carry this burden of whatever I see as a problem with me. It's a part of my nature. I don't want to forget about it because I may feel that it's important to work on. I do feel that communication is very important. I feel that intimacy is very important. I feel some of my core needs, these are my core needs, and we all kind of have these core needs. But which ones are hot for me? Which ones are alive for me? Which ones present themselves on the daily things that I do that I stand upon? What's the priority in my needs? And placing those priorities sometimes can be conflicting with our interconnection with others. And oftentimes when we stand on some of these needs too greatly, we don't hear the needs of others. We don't know what's alive for them. We close ourselves off. A lot of us in the peace movement, me being in the peace movement, I feel I want to maintain a sense of peace all the time. Is that reality? Can it be reality? Can I check myself, and should everybody check themselves in the moment in how they're projecting themselves, how they're communicating, how they're loving? Is there one way to do this? Sometimes we can meet individuals that are on common ground. Sometimes I meet individuals that are on common ground in what I need, in what I communicate. But am I surrounding myself with those people? Is it possible for me to completely surround myself with those people all the time? These are things that I ask myself because I try to think about myself, but oftentimes I try to think about the community more. Not saying that my laws and my legislations or what I believe should be the ultimate is what should be in place. But that shared reality that we have. You know, I want to be in the community of like-minded individuals. But is that a community? Because if you had a bunch of people that thought the same and felt the same, where's the individuality? It would be like a town of, everybody likes blue. So the whole town is blue. You know what I'm saying? Where does that leave room for the people that are red or green or yellow? Because a community is usually, for it to be functional, it has to have various individuals in it. It has to have various ways of thinking in it. Because that's what makes up a community. That's what makes up a society. Because each one is able to give their part or give their input so that we can grow. Because if I deal with the same thing every time, I'm never going to change. I'm never going to transform. If I get a community of like-minded individuals, that community may be stagnant. Because they'll never grow because they're always dealing with what they like. Would that be a sustainable society? Would that be a place, this heaven that everybody talks about? What is it really like? Is it different for every individual? This heaven that everybody talks about, these communities, this afterlife, this paradisia, this place where it's enclosed and it's this place of peace and prosperity and fertility. Like, what is this heavenly abode? This ideal place? And is it possible? to be in accord like that. Not taking away from the idea of heaven, but what is it really? Can I find that peaceful place? To get back on the subject matter about anger and finding peace. How do you go about finding that peace? I've used various methods. I try to use intimacy. I try to use communication. I try to use various things. But if those times, those things are not being met, what is it that I can really do to get that going? To reach that peaceful place? And can I stay there if I want to grow? These are just my thoughts. I'm sharing them with you as a way of reducing my anger, because I have to express myself. I'm very expressive. And I like to work things out. And sometimes I have to work them out inside of me. And then as I'm working them out inside of me, I like to share that with you. And these are just the random thoughts of somebody that was engaging in behavior that he wasn't happy with, and he's trying to find an outlet, find a way to deal with his issues so that it doesn't spill over on others. So I can reduce the impact that I have on other individuals. And I share this with you, hoping that you too may ask yourself these questions, or you too may put this in your mindset to say, well, how am I dealing with my anger? And is it effective for me? Does it work for me? Does it work for everyone? Does it work for the community? And it boils down to, are my needs being met in the way that I'm acting? And am I willing to change the way that I'm acting to get my needs met? So that I can socialize, so that I can be a part of the whole. I hope I wasn't rambling. Please give me some feedback on what you hear and what I say, so that I know if I'm communicating in a way that's effective in achieving my goal of peace and solutions and resolutions. Or am I just running my mouth, just trying to be heard? I can answer that question for myself, but I like your feedback. How's it impressing on you? What are you hearing? Are you just hearing some old man ramble? Or are you hearing yourself through another voice? My time's coming up, so I'm going to end this now. But I had to share this with you, because sharing is caring. I love you guys, and I hope you stay tuned. Sometimes it'll be random, sometimes it'll be structured, and sometimes it'll just be me trying to vent and let it out so that it doesn't spill onto others. Have a beautiful day, and be careful out there. Be mindful and compassionate. There's a war going on outside, and nobody can run. We can't hide from these streets that they done took. Because there ain't no such thing as a halfway crook. Huh? Holler at you. I don't know where I was going with that, but I was just trying to share and end the show. See ya. And may the divine be with you.